Imagine a world with no cold calling. A world where companies don't sell your data to other companies who want to pester you. At G4 Claims, we don't cold call and we don't buy a single lead from data companies. Oh, and if you're due any compensation from your car accident, you pay nothing to us at all. For full accident management support, including motor replacement, repairs and personal injury compensation claims, just search G4 Claims today. For help the way you want it.
Hi and welcome to this week's episode of the DW podcast. For those that have been listening in recent weeks, you will know that I have been doing a series of great Scots. So we've had Sanjeev Kohli, who's better known as Naveed and Still Game, Stuart Braithwaite from the band Mogwai, Julie Lynn McLeod, who's a magnificent chef and owns Julie's Cockatium out in the Glasgow South Side. And I thought it would only be right that I got someone on from my local town of Motherwell, who I think is not only a great friend of mine, but a great musician, and I would class as a great Scot. So, Tommy McGuire, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, Derek. A great Scot. I never realised I was going to be one of those classed as that in your podcast. I'm
funny, right?
Sanjeev Kohli, that's mad.
Listen, people do these things, and it's so easy to big people up for all around the country, but I think that we're often quite hard on ourselves, and we've got some amazing people, as you'll know, for Motherwell and Lanarkshire over the years, be it sports people, musicians, specifically musicians. Actually, we come from an area where we've been blessed for music.
Definitely, man. Definitely, there's a lot of people for the local area doing well. It's good. It's brilliant to see.
And I just thought it would be nice to chuck you in there and make sure that we're pushing the ML1 as well.
Class. Thank you very much, mate. Brilliant. Thank you very much for having us on.
What's been happening with yourself?
Not a lot. Just kind of coming off the back of releasing a single just the last day of October there, or 30th October, which kind of done pretty well. So I've just been getting a video done for that as much as I can with all the kind of things in place, you know what I mean, all the restrictions and whatnot. But it's been good. We're getting to where we need to be, and hopefully there'll be a video out very soon for the song. So happy days.
I'm going to big you up here, and I would say that people see people in the Scottish music scene rising to the top, and they don't usually see the hard work that goes in. But I think you are one of the hardest working musicians I know. You spend your life essentially travelling around the country, playing gigs, playing in pubs. At every opportunity, you've got your guitar and your microphone in front of you. So it must be a bit of a strange time for you just now. Like with everything shutting down.
Yeah, it was a good. The last few years have been brilliant in terms of getting gigs and meeting people within the industry and getting different opportunities and stuff like that. So it was good, and obviously getting myself set up. And then obviously the lockdown happened, which that was March, wasn't it? So I think I was gigging right up to like the day before it. Obviously, no entirely sure what was happening, and then it was like all of a sudden you're getting told August, and then you're getting to August, and then now we're here. You know what I mean? And we don't really know what's going to happen next with gigs and stuff like that. But I miss doing it, man. See, just like I was doing live streams and whatnot for ages there, and see, just like you're not getting the same feeling as much as it's entertaining and stuff like that, and watching all the people doing live streams and whatnot. For the musician, you're not getting the same feeling whatsoever. You know what I mean? By all means, you're just sitting in your living room playing your guitar in front of your iPad or in front of your computer or whatever it is. So it'd be brilliant to get back out gigging again, man.
I think it's the same for folk that are watching it at home as well. Like, you really crave, or I certainly do really crave that live music hit. And it's great to see people. It's great to see people, playing tunes and stuff. But it's just not the same as being in a room with your mates and your family or your friends, is it?
Exactly. I know, it's the atmosphere you miss, isn't it? It's just getting a laugh and getting out and enjoying yourself. That's pretty much the main part. I'm sure everybody's missing.
I've touched
so
on
hopefully
it.
That come back ASAP with that.
I know. Have you done any of these kind of virtual things that have been happening? I know you mentioned your live streams at the start of it. Is there?
Yeah, I took part in the Sofathon sing-along early on in lockdown. That was for supporting the live venues and stuff like that, which is obviously a brilliant cause. But on top of that, I was doing it on my Facebook page as much as I could. I said to myself right at the start, I'm going to do one every night until this lockdown's over, and I thought I'm just going to graft it. I think it was about a week and a half in, and I thought, yeah, this might actually go on for a wee while, and I've committed to this. So I was like, went to one a week, and then I've just got to the stage where I was running out of tunes. You know what I mean? It's fair enough if you're playing a different pub every Friday night, but if you're going on your live set, I've only got so much of a set list. You know what I mean? Be it 3 hours in a pub, you know what I mean? But you're still sitting there playing the same tunes week in, week out. So it's that wore a wee bit, but the live streaming stuff, I will keep it up. I'll keep trying to learn and expand, and obviously try and write up, play a little bit more of my own songs that I've been writing and stuff like that. But honestly, man, the sooner we're back to gigging, the better. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. Especially all that. See, with the single, like after the back of that, I was like, I'm going to arrange a party. I'm going to get a gig. I'm going to do that. And then I just thought, I can't do anything. I can't arrange anything. Like, I can't. You know what I mean? You couldn't go ahead with anything. So
we'll go into it, Tommy, and the single like absolutely blew up. But I mean, you're around the corner for me in Motherwell, just in the road. And what was it like? What was your early experiences of playing music? Because I don't know if I'm being unfair here, but I sometimes think, as a young kid, it's becoming a bit cooler now. But I think maybe when we were growing up, it was almost like everybody plays football or goes and hangs about down the parks. Like there's not many people actually picking up guitars and putting themselves out there singing because they often get scrutinised.
I know, that's it. It's the fear of getting the Mickey took out you early on. And I remember, man, I got the Mickey took out me type thing. As much as people were supportive, you always get your deals and all the rest of it, which is fair play. Everybody gets it. But I think that maybe people can, like, I've heard some folks sing in their class, you know what I mean? I'm like, you could really, like, you could turn up to an open mic, come with me and bring a guitar, and I'll play a guitar for you and do a few tunes. Nah, can you do that? You're like, how no? You know what I mean? Just exactly, like, and even just for karaoke or something like that, people are hesitant to go and get a tune. Go and get a tune. But no, I think the early days, I started the band, I was in Isotones. I was early on when I was about 16, 17, right up to I was about 18, 19. And obviously was in different bands after that, doing pubs and elsewhere. But I remember early on the band, I think she was putting gigs on up in the Motherwell. What suite was that? Was it the David Cooper suite or something?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Aye, and then there was a few, and then that Real Time, the Motherwell people, they were putting gigs on at the time. So it was good getting there was a wee kind of local scene going for a wee time, for bands for Wisha and all the rest of it, and obviously Motherwell Makes Music, which I'm sure we'll go on to as well, was a brilliant thing. They were all brilliant opportunities coming up, but that was the opportunities, you know what I mean? Obviously now they're diminished again, but I think locally getting a wee band scene or something like that, it wouldn't hurt, you know what I mean, for all the young kids coming up and stuff like that, who probably have a love for music and stuff like that. And I teach music as well, so I see a lot of the kind of young prospects are dying to get out and get gigging and playing bands and stuff like that. And as much as there's recording studios or rehearsal studios and stuff like that local, then it's the gigs, you know what I mean? It's having a lot of them will maybe not be able to make it into Glasgow, especially. I remember nobody able to drive and stuff like that. See, try to get a gig before I could drive. It was never happening. It was one every 6 months or something like that, you know what I mean? So it'd be good to maybe try and build that up a wee bit again. So I'm sure we'll move on to the plans of Motherwell Makes Music from that. Yeah,
I think as well, Tommy, like you see it, people, teaching youngsters guitar and singing and stuff as well. And I think at first, there is that nervousness and hesitation, isn't there? But I think for people like yourself, who's just brought out this single, it's and right into the charts. When you see people that are just on your doorstep doing these things, it inspires others and gives them a platform to think, oh, if Tommy can do it, he's just up the road. They see themselves in you.
I remember having that feeling when I was younger. You know what I mean? I remember being in my mate's house and the LaFontaines came in for a gig, and they went out to a gig, and I'm like, that's cool as anything. I want to do that one day type thing. And then I remember finding out Paolo Nutini was with Paisley as well, and being like, what? Because he's got a pure Italian name. I thought it was like a New York Italian guy type thing or something like that. My mum said, no, he's with Paisley. I was like, no chance. So when you see somebody local, it's no impossible. You know what I mean? It isn't really impossible. With the right hard work and the right dedication, people who are wanting to make a career in music can certainly do it. I'm saying that now, by the way, but we'll see how the live gigs go.
Exactly. Well, that's it coming back. I mean, you play live gigs every single weekend, like non-stop. But I think that when live gigs do come back, I spoke to Stuart from Mogwai about this, it's almost like there's going to be such an influx at once of people that haven't played gigs. I hope that people, I mean, it's going to be hard to afford everything, but I hope that people don't think, I can't go to everything, or, I hope that bands don't think, I'll put off this month because there's too much happening, there might be too much happening, but it's going to be really...
It's all going to come at one time, isn't it? Everybody's want to be the first one to get in and get out first.
Exactly.
It will be strange when it comes to that, but hopefully at the same time people are dying to get out and have maybe no been spending money and stuff like that, and have some put away for. That's what I'm make a petition, start putting money away, so when gigs come back, you can all come.
let's talk about the single then, because as I said earlier,
Okay.
it absolutely blew up. Like, tell us about it.
So I recorded it at 45A Side Recordings in Glasgow with the producer Paul McNally. So I wrote the song months in advance, and I was just kind of playing it around the house and all the rest of it. It's in a different tuning, so I think I just kept one of my guitars in a different tune. I was always playing it straight off the bat, and I just thought once I'd finished it, I kind of wrote it all up, made a demo in GarageBand, and then took it into the studio. And it was a 2-day job. It was we get the majority done in a one day. The hardest part, obviously, now the restrictions and all the rest of it. I couldn't get like a piano player and someone who's like absolutely boss at the piano, or a bassist or anything like that. So I just fired out all the instruments myself. So I done bass, piano, and guitar, and obviously all the vocals and whatnot.
You're sure enough.
Just a wee bit. You know what I mean? I had to get it in somewhere. I've not said that yet. But obviously I couldn't get anyone to do it. So there's wee bits I think, that could sound better if like somebody, you know what I mean, somebody who's class at the piano might have been able to put another touch on it. But I did my best with it. Done all that, released it, got it out on iTunes, Spotify, and all the rest of it. And then I just fired some posts on Facebook. And it right at the start, I went on to check the iTunes chart just off the bat, because I just wanted to see, you know what I mean, just out of curiosity, I'll go and check it, and it was at 120. And right at the start, I thought, I'm going to see if I'll put a post up, try and promote it as best I can, and see if I can get the top 100. And then I checked again, and it was at like 40. And I'm like, you're kidding me on, man. And then it got as high as 14, and the full time I'm just sitting there on my jaw on the floor, like, what is happening? I couldn't believe it. And then the following week, everyone's streaming it on Spotify. Again, massive thanks to them if you weren't able to buy it on iTunes for streaming it, because it obviously all helps towards it. And it ended up number 7 in the official Scottish charts.
That's crazy, eh?
That's crazy, mate. I didn't expect it. I thought, I don't know, I just thought, like, I brought a single out in 2017, and you get the option to release it to the charts, like, when you're publishing the music, when you're putting it all on Spotify and all that. It's like a wee extra, do you want to add this for entry for the charts? And you go, go on in, like, see what happens. The first one got absolutely nowhere near 2017, so I didn't have the expectations, you know what I mean? This completely surpassed them, if there was any. But I just wanted to put a tune out to try and get a wee bit of optimism about things. Obviously, the song's about pretty much like, if you don't laugh, you'll greet situations, you know what I mean? If it just like being optimistic and smiling through tough times. And obviously, I think I hit the nail on the head with the way everyone's feeling at the minute. I think everybody's just scun up with everything that's going on. So it's always good to kind of remember to smile when everyone's getting you down and all the rest of it. But yeah, so video's next up, and then
you mentioned there that you had the guitar in the house and it was in different tuning, and you were playing it to yourself. And before you done that demo, did you ever think this is something special here? Because it is an absolute cracker, you know.
I'm self-critical, mate. Probably the first time I wrote it and first time I played it, I went, that's a belter. The more I play it, like I annoy myself with that, because I'll write what I think would be a pretty good song, and then I'll keep playing it over and over again and just going, nah, like, you know what I mean? I talk myself out it almost. But for this one, I just kind of stuck through it, and I just thought, well, I need to do something. I want to get a song recorded. I've got this song here. I'm just going to go and get it done. You know what I mean? It was just a kind of almost an impulse decision. Almost. The videographer, Graham Glover, who I'm doing the video with for the single, he messaged me in like September or something, just saying, I'm getting a new camera, if you want to do anything, let's try it. And I thought, that's an opportunity that's come up, and I've not got a song to do it with, you know what I mean? I've not got a song there to go and make a video, and I thought, I need to get my act together here. Like, with everything slowing down, it was very easy to take the foot off the gas with it a wee bit, you know what I mean? Because you can't get out, you're in the house. I couldn't have played that song in front of an audience, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a seal of approval with it. So that to find the confidence to go and do it was a kind of a big leap. But
you'd never played that live before?
I think maybe once, I think maybe once, but it would have been in like a pub on a Sunday when nobody's really listening anyway. You know what I mean? It's just ambient music. I thought, I'll throw this in, see if it fits into the set, or if anybody lifts a heat or whatever. You know what I mean? So
I wonder if that benefited you, because I wonder if you'd have played it live a few times, you might have thought, oh, I'm not sure about this, or you might have questioned.
I don't know where this is going. This isn't really working and stuff like that. You're right, mate. That is exactly it. I think it's a very natural thing to start talking to yourself about your own songs because think of how many times you've listened to it in comparison to someone listening to it the first time. You know what I mean? I remember when the song came out, I actually sat in the morning and went, I'm going to try and listen to it as if it's the very first time I've listened. You can't do it. I don't care what Andy says. You can't. You know exactly what's coming up and all the rest of it, and you're preparing yourself for the high notes. And it doesn't work like that. You lose the element of surprise. So I think you do talk yourself out of it, and maybe that was a benefit. Getting to play it in front of an audience. Maybe I need to start doing it. Maybe I'll just stop doing gigs and just start living in a studio. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the next step.
It's amazing. Like, you see these artists put things out and they shoot up to number 7 in the Scottish charts, for example, and they almost take it for granted. But the thing for me it was amazing to see was, you were documenting your journey for the day that this came out, and the following days into people hearing it, going from number 120 to number 40, and just seeing your face, on social media lighting up and being absolutely delighted as it was coming in was really special.
I know, it's brilliant, mate. Your face has been tripping me for the past 6 months with no gigs, you know what I mean? So I've not been able to play music. So it was genuine. It was total, like, I can't believe this is happening to me type thing. So the support was amazing, man. Like, I put up a wee post. I think I'd got up, Go Radio, I'd got a hold of it, and they wanted me to come on for an interview early doors in the breakfast show. So I was up, woke up, one eye open, had a house coat on, done the interview, and then after it I thought, right, I better put a post on Facebook, and without thinking just fired the post up. My mum texted me, she's like, are you in your dressing gown? And that, what are you doing? You're no shaved, your hair's a mess, and you're in your, we folk had got to see this, but I was just asking people to put it on their stories to keep sharing it. And there was people I'd never met, they're like just tagging me in all these stories and stuff like that, and people I never knew would have listened to my music in the first place, just sharing it and stuff like that. It was brilliant, man. It was almost overwhelming. You know what I mean? It was overwhelming at points, to be honest, but it was great. It was heartwarming to see the support. But I ended up like, you see somebody's story after a night out, and it's like all the tabs. You need to pick through them. Mine was like, there was so many wee bits. It's just the amount of people to share it. I couldn't believe it, man. It was brilliant. And obviously it paid off, and you can't say a big enough thank you. You know what I mean?
And for Go Radio, you were on everything. You were on Radio Scotland as well, weren't you?
Radio Scotland, Capital got me on as well. So,
which is, that's new. That's surprising. Usually, I feel that these commercial radio stations, and certainly things like Radio Scotland or Capital, they tend to have songs, that are on a repeater that record labels have paid a lot of money.
I think it is something to do with that. It's like maybe they only play the UK top 40 or something like that, because it is always obviously the most kind of current songs that are on the radio. So I think they might have just a contract to play. I'm talking like a term maybe, but I don't know the ins and outs. But they managed to get wee clips. Of the song on, and that's fair enough, because even at that, it's a wee taster. And if somebody hears that, somebody local's brought out a song and it's getting played on Capital, then maybe that's a brilliant opportunity. You know what I mean? Hopefully somebody listens to it. Well, they did, because at this point. So
I think it's testament to how good the song is, and you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said it's a song about if you don't laugh, you'll cry, and this is the perfect time, the perfect year even to bring that out. You know, I mean, some of the lyrics here, it's so relatable to now.
Exactly, and it's one of the first lyrics is when stuff happens back to back. You know what I mean? It's just one thing after another now. You know what I mean? And then obviously we're back into tier 4 lockdown now as we're speaking now. So it's bonkers. You're just waiting for the next thing to happen at this stage, aren't you?
I know. I'd imagine this time of year as well is usually extremely busy for you, with Christmas approaching and gigs coming up. It's almost the time when everybody wants to get in and have a dance and listen to music.
I know, is it exactly that? Like, in August, I had inquiries for Christmas parties and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, hopefully everybody's in the same boat. Hopefully, we'll be thinking that by Christmas this will all be gone and we'll never need to think about it again. And it's no. So all the bookings are now cancelled and stuff like that. So it's it's been a busy time of year. So I think everybody's the same, but you know what I mean. Even with Christmas shoppings, retailers, small businesses, and all that kind of thing, everybody's going to be hit with this.
But how does someone like you almost get through that? Because I'd imagine that's a big source of your income as well, just taking away.
It is. I mean, you do what you need to. At the minute, I'm still working as well, teaching, but all remotely type thing. And that change is just coming in, and I'm basically I went back to uni. I was with them. We're going to say that other day, but I know. So I chose to go back to uni as well, just to complete my degree. So that was like when it got to March and stuff like that, when it all started locking down. I thought everything's slowing down. I'm not want to sit in the house doing nothing, so I need to get up to something. So I had 1 year of my degree left. I chose to go back and do that. So I'm just going to be completing that hopefully by May, and that's hopefully should see us through until gigs come back. But
It's filled a hole. Oh God, I better go back to uni and do that since I'm not playing any gigs.
Exactly, I know exactly that. But you do what you can at the minute just to keep going, and that's pretty much it.
So we spoke about the success of the single and shooting up the charts. And I was delighted to see it, but the video's out now, so I suppose that's another wee spot for you as well to continue that hype.
The video was a lot of fun to shoot, but we've done it in parts around Motherwell and then went into Glasgow and stuff like that. But it was good fun. It was just obviously to highlight the message of the song and all the wee bits in it, and hope everybody that sees it enjoys it and gives it a wee share.
I suppose it's a bit of happiness before Christmas as well, isn't it? Hopefully cheer people up. And
I mean, it's there's wee bits that I hope with people get a giggle at, and obviously hope they enjoy the song side of things as well. But it's good to get some visuals to it as well, because I think sometimes people can relay a message of a song or stuff like that. So it'll be good for people to kind of match the two bits up.
And I suppose for folk that have been listening to it on Spotify and iTunes and stuff, it's almost putting a face to a name as well, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier on, is like there was a lot of people I had never met before or encountered were sharing and stuff like that, and just heard this guy, or you know what I mean, and it's good because they've maybe missed a lot of the live streams or never been to a gig or something like that. So hopefully people will start putting a face to a name, because the cover for the single's a cartoon which is drawn by Liam Shaw, so people must think there's a wee cartoon guy kicking about writing songs at this stage. So I but that must put a face to a name as well.
You know, we spoke a wee bit about the Scottish music scene, and you know, it's been so successful in recent years. You've obviously got Capaldi at the top of the tree, whatever else. But do you feel it's quite supportive? Is there a lot of things out there to push musicians forward? I know that you've been along quite often and done stuff with Mick Hargan as well, and it seems like there's been a lot of people that's come off the back of that.
Mick was brilliant. Doing all the gigs for him. It was in the Amethyst and King Tut's and stuff like that. The opportunities that came to that were endless almost, you know what I mean? I managed to get King Tut's main stage and stuff like that a few times, and obviously just it's playing regularly is the main part for me. See, as long as there's a platform to play regularly, then you need to keep up with practice and kind of always seek to improve. So it's great to have that in Glasgow, especially. There's a lot when it's all happening. There's a lot of kind of jam nights and stuff like that, and I think the opportunity to play with other musicians is essential, especially as a solo artist, because you can kind of fall out of that and keep your own time to somebody else's. You know what I mean? Counting completely differently for you. So it's good to keep within that rhythm and get to as many jam nights and stuff like that. And you see so many talented musicians at these things as well. It's inspiring.
You said being a solo artist. Would you ever have a band? I feel like I've always played in bands myself, and you put yourself out there when you're a solo artist. You're out on your own. If somebody fucks up, it's you.
I know, I've been there plenty, because there's a loop pedal I use as well. So, I mean, I've got a lot better at it now. But early days using the loop pedal, there was so many like in pubs. There was just like random wee strings getting picked within the loop and different knocks and percussion that's out of time and stuff like that. Didn't always go to plan, but I think you do need to kind of rely on yourself a lot, and I would consider having a band. I think a lot of the music I write, you can only do so much with a loop pedal, and it would just be like acoustic versions almost. So when venues and all the rest of it open, I can probably almost definitely say my first gig back will be with a band. That's I'm going to say that now, right? So that's I've just decided this now, right? So I maybe actually need to take a minute to think about that. But I think the first, definitely when venues and stuff like that open, I'll be seeking to do my act with a band and stuff like that, so people can get the full experience with the songs. You know, and I think that's amazing to see. There's people as well, you know, that you know well, young Connor Fife, who's got 13 now. Well, Connor Fife's amazing, man. Like, Sifa's been such a young musician. He's incredible, you know, that way. When I remember I seen him, I don't know, I always get mixed up with his age because I'm amazed by how young he is. But I think he was 9 or 10 when I first seen him, and he was brilliant. And I seen him again when he was 10, 11, and stuff like that. It was at the McCargan nights, and he just kept getting better and better and better and better. And he's playing with a band and all the rest of it now. His album out, he's top class. He's a very, very talented young musician.
It seems to me that there's this real scene in Glasgow, and the people that work the hardest are the ones that are getting the rewards, like Connor and yourself. Like, I remember seeing, as you said, Connor when he was younger, and yourself as well. And it's like you went from playing, one gig a month to playing every weekend all the time. Solo artists at first, and now backing bands behind you, and people crying out for more music.
Aye. It's great to see. It's great to see, especially with Connor. I've as I say, I've seen him from the start, and it's brilliant to see him just come on so much. And he's had the opportunity and that kind of that platform, always been able to get out and gig, and he's totally took it and ran with it. Like, you know what I mean? He's done the absolute best he could with it, and he's doing brilliant.
Who else should folk be looking out for? You are the ear to the ground, I'd say.
There's hundreds. Like, I don't know where to start. There's absolutely loads. I could list thousands. No, maybe not thousands, but I think if you see a musician that's working hard and continually putting out content, you should really kind of try and zone in what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because these people are trying really hard and working really hard at something. And I think musicians aren't made without support. You know what I mean? And I think if you know someone who's trying to be a musician, or if you kind of know someone through someone or heard someone once that you liked, I would say give them a wee like, give them a wee share, you know what I mean, and a wee bit of encouragement, because brilliant talent can come from anywhere with the right support, I think.
I think that is vital, what you said there, because you've noticed it firsthand, as you said earlier, and there's people you don't know, just sharing your stuff makes a huge difference. But as well, I seen someone recently share something on Twitter or Instagram, I think it was, and it was like, you can have 250,000 Spotify plays and it gets you peanuts. You know,
I calculated Smile got 20,000. I calculated how much it would be, and it's like, I was like, what? How's that? You know what I mean? I think it was about 60 quid or something. So got to come in it.
And this is what people who aren't in the music industry, or who aren't in bands, are putting tunes out, don't understand. Like, people will see you being in the top 10 and they'll think, oh, you must be doing well, you must be making a fortune. And don't get me wrong, you're doing very well musically, but it doesn't pay the bills as of yet. And they
doesn't always translate. I know, especially with the 100%, the shares do make a massive difference. I think that side of things is always backed up with kind of live gigs or doing a tour and stuff like that. So that I'm on the back foot a wee bit with that, because I'd love to do that. That's obviously kind of my first protocol when I can. But I don't. It's a bit of pain in the neck with that. But all the shares make a difference, especially at the minute. You know what I mean? And hopefully that aids towards the live shows then being successful when it comes to it.
Aye. Did you have any festivals lined up for this year?
I hadn't applied for any. No, I hadn't went ahead to apply for any for this year. But it's been great. It was really good to get a part of the kind of online festivals when they came about during the summer and stuff like that. I've done a couple of them, and whatever I can get my hands on next year, I'll be there. But, you know what I mean? I'm keen to get back out and playing, and hopefully festivals will be the next step for that. Especially, I've always kind of shied away from festivals a wee bit, Derek, because I don't like being at a festival and listening to covers. You know what I mean? And for a very long time, I was basically doing my music. I was still learning at this stage, you know what I mean? But doing all these covers, you're learning and stuff like that, which is 100% the right thing to be doing. But I wouldn't have wanted to play a festival act back then doing cover songs, you know what I mean, or my interpretations of songs. So I could probably say now that I'd be able to go out and do a set of my own tunes. Even better, hopefully with a band as well when it comes to it.
Totally.
But so I feel I'll be a bit more confident going forward for a festival for the coming years.
Have you got other tunes in the pipeline that you're ready to record there? Or?
Ready to record's a big statement. But I just need to go and take that leap, you know what I mean? As we were saying earlier on with the doubting the songs and stuff like that. But I write songs all the time, and they don't always come to the public eye, or you know what I mean. I never really share them, but I'm always writing. Every day I'll come up with a wee something. I always try, and every time I pick up the guitar, to at least work on maybe one I've started, or start something new or something like that. So, and sometimes even the stuff that you've wrote, trying different keys and trying different rhythms, or if it's a fast song, slow it down. You know what I mean? Does it have a different impact? How does it go? Or wee things like that. They do take a lot of work, a lot of groundwork to start with, you know what I mean, to then come to sound like something so you can have an idea in your head when you're going forward. But no, I'm writing all the time, and hopefully all going well. Obviously right now it's going to be quite hard with further restrictions for the last time. So yeah, people can be guaranteed that I'll be bringing out more music, hopefully before the new year comes. But that's going to be a hard one to work towards. So if not, then 2021 will be a year for some new music.
It's going to be a big year for you.
Here's hoping. Well, I go as far to say this is going to be my year. Is that too cheesy for a podcast tomorrow? No, I want to take the bull with the horns next year. I didn't expect this kind of success with the song, so looking forward, I just need to keep working. That's exactly it. You never know what's going to happen. It could completely flop. It could do well, but it will be there regardless.
And Tommy, we've played loads of gigs together, and I know that you're quite fond of a night out and enjoy a wee beer as well. And I don't know how you manage to play in all these pubs and stay professional.
I don't drink when I'm gigging, so I'll put that as well. But if I have to go on stage, I don't drink. Basically, until if my mates are coming, I'll maybe and one of them's driving, I'll wait until after. You know what I mean? But it's rare, and it's never happened. It's happened a couple of times, but they're probably one of the best gigs to have attended. But no, I try and keep myself professional, especially if a venue's paying you to put on a certain standard of show, then it's less to worry about. If I'm drunk, I'm like, oh God, but if you know what I mean, you start going, it's in a different mindset, and I need to be in the mindset to be on stage type thing. So always, basically to keep myself professional when I'm playing, when that's all happening, that's definitely my route of choice.
I think that speaks volumes about yourself, you know, and about where you see this going. You know, don't get me wrong, this started off as a hobby for you, something that you done in your spare time, playing music, and now, you know, this is something that you want to do and you've committed yourself to, and I strongly believe that your future is in music. You know, that's what you're going to do the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it was always a hobby, but even when it was a hobby, it was 100% what I wanted to do with my life. You know what I mean? I wanted to dedicate it to it. And see, I remember I had a job in car sales. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it quickly. But basically, I had a job in car sales, turned up knackered after a gig on the Friday night, and the Saturday morning, my boss sat me down and went, "You're going to make a choice between selling cars. You can't do both here, or playing your gigs on a Friday, Saturday night." I basically said to him, "Well, I'd rather go and do that, mate." You know what I mean? I'll catch you after. So up the road and get a wee job, just cleaning dishes in a restaurant type thing, just in I can get a holiday. And I've just started doing gigs. So but that was a real turning point, because I thought, like, if you're going to do this, you see the people who are doing it, and I was always out at gigs socialising and stuff like that with other musicians, and the ones that I really seen doing well, I'm going, like, do you work as well? I work as a car salesman. Do you do? No, I only do music. And I always was intrigued as to how they were making money from it and keeping themselves going and stuff like that. So it basically got to that stage. I was about 21, I think, as far as I remember, 21, 22. 21, maybe 20, I don't know. But basically said to myself, right, I'm going to just do this now. This is what I think my family and parents were a bit like, "Are you sure? Like, that you can get somebody else paying your bills now, you know what I mean, if you're working for them?" But I just took it upon myself and tried to go out there and make a go at it, you know what I mean? Because you really do have to kind of, it's like, you manage. I'm the artist, managing the artist, and doing all the promotion and stuff like that as well. It's time consuming at the same time, you know what I mean, when everything's going. So I really had to dedicate myself to get the right results that I wanted.
I think that's really brave, Tommy, and I think, you know, you're lucky, even though you said that you had that doubt at first for your family. I think
folk thought I was mental. People are like, "Tommy, screw the nut here." You know what I mean? You've left a good job to just like play the guitar, and I was like, "I what? I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to be doing." So I had a few raised eyebrows.
You're reaping the rewards.
Thanks very much, man. No, it feels good for that kind of dedication to be paying off. You know what I mean?
You know,
it was a big risk.
It makes me wonder how many musicians out there is that have the same conversations with their girlfriend or their partner or their boyfriend or their families, and the families have went, "Nah, you can't do that. We've got bills to pay, and you've missed it in it." And it's actually a shame that it comes to that. You know, like, I feel that playing the guitar and singing, and that should be a viable option for people if they are good enough to do it. There shouldn't be that. I'm not sure if you'll make enough money out of that. Go for it. You know, live your dream.
100%, and people do need to realise, like, the majority 90% at least of working musicians will have portfolio careers. You know what I mean? It's not just playing the guitar. You can find work doing other things to support what you're doing, and the part-time jobs are a massive player in this. Jobs within the industry are also a massive player. You know what I mean? And as much as they're hard to come across, if you can work that into your schedule and get all that kind of stuff done, it's definitely doable. You know what I mean? The creative industries and stuff like that, as much as they've been kind of brought down recently, slated, you know what I mean, or not so much that, but people are getting told to retrain and stuff like that. This isn't going to be forever. It's no, you know what I mean. And I think if once the industry opens back up again, then there should be kind of a lot of, if it goes back to normal, then there should be a lot of opportunities in place.
I totally agree with you, 100%. What's your next tune going to be about? Because you brightened up the nation with this one, so I'm hoping it's not going to be doom and gloom.
Going to be heartbreaking. No, I'm going to break everybody's hearts again. No, I'm between a few. I think just what we're talking about there. I've got one song, Everything in Between, it's called, and it's pretty much just getting yourself. It's kind of actually what we've just been speaking about. It's just like kind of taking that leap and taking the chances. That was, I wrote that song once I left that job, and it was just to take the chances that are in front of you, and if you want to do something, go and do it. You know what I mean? Don't always be pigeonholed into this is what you know what I mean? This is what you need to do, or that kind of thing. Taking chances and doing what you want and doing it well. That's what the song's pretty much about. That's everything in between. I've played that loads. I've played that's everywhere, but I want to get it recorded properly. And I've got a few more that are in the writing stages at the minute. So
Tommy,
we'll maybe check back in.
But I have to say, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much for having me on. It's amazing to be
after
passes the great Scott. I know, mate. I know. It's been ages. I'm sure I drove by you at Uppercross, but I was too feared to come out and talk to you just in case anybody coughed on me.
For those that are listening or watching and wondering what Uppercross is, if you're ever in Motherwell, that is a wee sandwich bar that you need to check out.
Yes, I'll vouch for them as well. Chicken Inferno or a chicken tikka panini, one of the two.
I'm quite a fan of a chicken tikka panini, I have to say.
They do good chicken sweet corn as well. That's just a baguette, lettuce on it, a bit of red onion.
We're going to have to chat.
What time is it? Here, what time is it? 10 to 12? I might jump up there now and get my lunch.
That's hilarious. No, Tommy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks to everyone who has watched this episode of the DW podcast. Please go check out,
guys.
Check out Tommy McGuire on Spotify, iTunes, all the usual places you can get him on. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I was going to say Tinder, but I don't think you're on that anymore.
No, on Tinder anymore. I'll make that certain. Absolutely not. Leave that to Lewis Capaldi. You can fire in a bit of Tinder. I've got a website as well. People want to check that out. TommyMcGuire.co.uk. So
thanks to everyone who's listened to this episode of the podcast. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Thanks very much, guys.